but I'm a competitor. I want to play. I'm going to do everything in my power to play.
Should Rick Carlisle sit Haliburton tonight?
Absolutely not. It's do or die. You're on the brink of elimination. There is no tomorrow. Absolutely, he should play. Make no mistake about that. And give you what he had.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Do you know what's so funny yet interesting at the same time? Is that no matter how many times things like this happen, the human mind has a tendency to easily forget stuff. And do you know what happens when we tend to forget things? We tend to repeat history over and over again. Welcome to my channel, where the only thing that matters is my opinion.
But when he went down, it kind of had put a shock through the team because, you know, he's one of our best players. And Haliburton, this is the same type of situation, right? So if I know he's not close to being able to get past somebody, because we know he's not 100%, but if he's not effective in ways that we need him to win, me personally, I wouldn't allow him to play because it will hamper the team mentally in the biggest stage in the NBA.
And with that information and knowing that if you make a player questionable and call him a game time decision and then he doesn't play, that player will have to answer that for a while when you're in an elimination game, that people will always have a feeling about that. Knowing that, they still listed him as questionable. So I suspect, and look, maybe he woke up today and it's worse, and maybe they'll change the designation during the day. But if he remains a game time decision, I would expect him to play for those reasons.
If we can rewind time just a bit, a few years ago, this happened to KD, and even though it was a very different situation, it is also very similar. And we all know how that ended.
You're nothing but another victim.
But not everybody is a KD that can bounce back from an injury like that. They do not have that same type of leverage that KD has. The average player in the NBA, if they suffer an Achilles tear, we will never see them the same way ever again. An example of this is DeMarcus Cousins. He suffered a similar injury, and after that, his career just kept on tanking to the point where he's no longer in the NBA, or he's a shell of what he used to be. But let's get back to Tyrese Haliburton right now.
Historic potential moment here in this series. I have no idea what Durant's going to be able to give him tonight. It's a real mystery.
Is this a situation where kind of desperate times call for desperate measures? Because in Game 3, you kind of held out Clay because you said it was a long series, and now you got your backs are really against the wall. If it was a situation similar to Game 3, would he play tonight with the way he's feeling right now?
We're really going to go into it that deeply? He can play now. He's been cleared, so he's going to play.
I remember when he was reported to have a calf strain. And normally, calf strains lead to these type of injuries. But the media and team players tend to bamboozle or gaslight people into thinking that if you cannot play through an injury, then you are not tough enough, or you're not able to be part of a brotherhood that will be respected simply because you put your body on the line. Might you add, your body is already on the line when you're already out there playing in this type of court. But everybody seems to expect you to play through injuries, even though they are not the one that feel the pain, that feel the pressure, and feel the emotional hurt that will happen if things should go wrong. They are not playing with the same risks.
It's the finals. It's the elimination game of the finals. It's arguably the biggest game in the history of your franchise in the NBA in that arena. There is no doubt, you know what I mean? To me, it's not like, well, you're only allowed to play 8 guys and you play him. Yes, he should play.
Do you overcompensate for the calf? It turns into a tear of the calf or an Achilles injury. I'm with Nick. I do think he should play. Look, and maybe he hasn't thought about it because he's so young. This may be your last trip to the NBA Finals. Yeah. 5 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago, Phoenix with a young Devin Booker, a young DeAndre Ayton, a young Mikal Bridges was in the Finals against the Bucks. I'm sure they thought, we'll get back. And look at that franchise now. They're a mess.
Oklahoma City the first time around.
Yeah.
Everybody's 23 or under, and you assume you're going to be there.
You don't know. You may never get back. So, and look, if Haliburton can be effective, they have a shot.
And this takes me to another situation. I remember when Kawhi was in the Spurs and he was injured and he refused to come back because his body did not give him the go-ahead. If y'all remember, Tony Parker, his teammate at the time, compared his injury to when he was injured by the same thing previously in the past, and he said that he played through it. And because Kawhi refuses to play through it, people called him weak, people called him soft, people called him selfish. And it's so funny how we all, or most people in the media or in NBA, tend to forget that. Because if he had actually played and something bad happened to his body, where would he be right now? Now look at what happened. He chose to listen to his body, he chose to listen to himself, and he went and got traded to the Toronto Raptors. And what did he do? He won the championship there because he chose to put himself first. Now, every other time when he's injured, people like to complain like it's his fault that his body just doesn't tend to go whenever he wants him to go. Tyrese Haliburton has gotten injured, and all of a sudden the whole world has moved on. The NBA moved on. His brothers will feel bad temporarily, but they will move on too. The organization will trade him if he needs to be traded to get to wherever they want to be.
He's not 100%. It's pretty clear. But I don't think he's going to miss the next game.
So do you think Rick Carlisle made a mistake in playing him in the second half?
I thought it was a colossal mistake on the part of Rick Carlisle, and I don't say that much because this is a champion and one of the great coaches in the game of basketball.
You know, you don't want to take this moment for granted, but I'm going to give them some advice early. If they saying it's a calf strain, sit out. Same advice I gave to Kevin Durant. Forget what the franchise is telling you. Sit out. And then what happened games later when Kevin Durant came back? He tore his Achilles.
I mean, it's going to be a final. It's the finals, man.
But yet people want to focus on the now. People say you may never have a chance to get back to the NBA Finals. Of course, there's always a possibility. But do you know what's a possibility? You may never feel the same ever again. And even if we look back at things right now, they still lost. And with this loss came an injury that will take him out of the NBA for at least 1 year. Possibly, his body will never get back to where it used to be before. And he's just a young guy. So even though everybody likes to say that they care about the player's health, that's not really true. What they care about is being entertained. And when they are entertained, if something bad happens, they'll sympathize with you, they'll feel bad for you, but at the end of the day, everybody will move on with their life. The player, as the person that gets injured, is the one that has to do the surgeries, go to the hospital, stay back with his family while his friends and so-called brothers continue to play games and continue to get paid and continue to take advantage of his absence in the locker room, thereby becoming the new leader and being the new essential piece to a team making the finals. Everybody will ultimately do what is best for them. So nowadays, I believe players should not listen to what nobody has to say. Forget your teammates. Forget the media. The only people that you should listen to is one, yourself, your body, and the people that actually have a stake in you being active in the NBA or in any sport. And those people that have stakes are people like your family members or people that you are responsible for. I'll say this again for the people in the back. No one knows how you feel except you. And no one has a right to tell you how to use your body except you. Not even your doctor, because sometimes doctors are necessary, but they are not 100% right, because they still don't feel what you feel. So let's look at the results. Indiana still lost. He's going to be 1 year out, and the organization will do whatever is best for them. The team, the media, and the so-called brothers that were in his locker room have already moved on, because the new NBA season will start. Only do what's best for you and what is right for you, because at the end of the day, only you can feel the shoes that you wear. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share.
You're nothing but another victim